Have you ever visited a country where women were the first in the world to vote? A tiny, flightless bird is a national icon, and glowworms light up entire caves like stars in the night? Welcome to New Zealand, a land full of surprises, quirks, and breathtaking beauty. Today, we're counting down 18 mind-blowing facts that will completely change the way you see this eccentric country. From magical Hobbiton hills to streets so steep you have to park sideways, each fact is stranger and more fascinating than the last. So buckle up and get ready to explore New Zealand like you've never imagined. Let's dive straight into fact number 18. Number 18. Land at the edge of the world. When you look at a world map, New Zealand almost feels like an afterthought. Tucked away in the far corner of the South Pacific, it's one of the most geographically isolated nations on Earth. In fact, the closest big neighbor is Australia, and that's still more than 2,000 kilometers or a 3-hour flight away. This sense of distance shapes everything. For centuries, it meant New Zealand developed its own unique ecosystems, untouched by the predators and animals found elsewhere. That's why flightless birds like the Kiwi and the kakapo were able to thrive here. They had no natural enemies. Even today, this isolation adds to the country's mystique. Tourists often describe it as stepping into another world, raw, pristine, and almost cinematic in its landscapes. But being at the edge also comes with challenges. Imported goods cost more. Travel to and from the country takes long-haul flights. And yet, this remoteness is part of New Zealand's charm. It's what makes the beaches feel wilder, the mountains more dramatic, and the culture so distinct. Standing on a cliff top overlooking the endless Pacific, you can't help but feel it. The powerful sense that you're literally on the edge of the world, far removed from the noise of everywhere else. New Zealand is breathtaking from edge to edge, but the surprises don't stop there. Next up, a place where Middle-earth comes to life like magic. Number 17. Hobbiton, Middle-earth in real life. If you've ever dreamed of stepping straight into The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, New Zealand makes that fantasy real. Just outside the small town of Matamata lies Hobbiton, the actual movie set built for Peter Jackson's films. And unlike many sets that get dismantled after filming, this one stayed. Today, it's a living, breathing slice of Middle-earth. Walking through Hobbiton feels like tumbling into the pages of Tolkien's imagination. The round green doors of hobbit holes peek out from grassy hills. Tiny fences, gardens filled with blooming flowers, and winding paths make it look as if Frodo or Sam might stroll out at any moment. Even the details are meticulous. Clotheslines with miniature laundry, smoke curling from chimneys, and mugs waiting at the Green Dragon Inn. What makes Hobbiton so magical is its permanence. It's not a theme park. It's a real village built into the land, blending seamlessly with the rolling countryside. The filmmakers originally planned to take it apart, but the set was rebuilt in sturdy materials for the Hobbit trilogy, ensuring fans from around the world could experience it for decades to come. Whether you're a die-hard Tolkien fan or simply someone who loves beautiful places, Hobbiton is more than a tourist stop. It's proof that sometimes fantasy really does leap off the screen and become reality. And if you thought stepping into Hobbiton was incredible, wait until you learn about a country that made history for women everywhere. Number 16. First country to give women the vote. In 1893, New Zealand made history by becoming the first country in the world to grant women the right to vote. Imagine a time when most nations denied women any political voice, and here, on the edge of the Pacific, Kiwi women were leading a global revolution without even realizing it. The story isn't just about signing a law, it's about courage, persistence, and community. Women campaigned tirelessly, collecting thousands of signatures and challenging societal norms that told them they shouldn't speak up. Their determination paid off, changing the course of history and setting a powerful example for the rest of the world. Today, the impact of that bold step is visible everywhere in New Zealand. Women thrive in leadership roles across politics, business, and culture. The country consistently ranks among the top globally for gender equality, and locals often celebrate this proud legacy in everyday life, from empowering school programs to supportive workplace policies. Visiting New Zealand, you can feel this spirit of equality and independence. From bustling cities to remote towns, the influence of those early pioneers is alive, reminding everyone that courage and persistence can truly reshape a nation. New Zealand's vote for women was more than a political act. It was a statement that fairness, opportunity, and inclusion matter, long before most of the world caught on. But history isn't the only marvel. New Zealand also hides an underground galaxy you can actually visit. Number 15. Glowworm Caves. Deep beneath the rolling hills of New Zealand's North Island lies a magical underground world, the Waitomo Glowworm Caves. Step inside, and instead of darkness, you're greeted by what looks like a night sky filled with stars. But these aren't stars at all. They're millions of tiny bioluminescent creatures known as glowworms. These glowworms, unique to New Zealand, dangle from the cave ceilings, releasing silk-like threads that glisten in the faint light. The glow they produce isn't just for beauty, it's a clever survival trick. The worms emit a blue-green light to attract insects, which then get trapped in the sticky threads. It's nature's version of a neon sign luring dinner straight to the table. The caves themselves are equally breathtaking. Limestone formations, sculpted by water over millions of years, create towering chambers and winding passageways. Visitors often take silent boat rides through the underground rivers, drifting under a starry ceiling of glowworms that mirrors the Milky Way. The stillness, broken only by the sound of dripping water, makes the experience feel almost otherworldly. What makes Waitomo even more fascinating is how it combines natural wonder with Maori heritage. Local Maori guides share ancient stories about the caves, connecting science with culture in a way that feels both educational and deeply spiritual. For travelers, it's one of those rare places where nature makes you forget time, an underground galaxy hidden right here on Earth. And from glowing caves to steaming landscapes, the natural wonders just keep coming. Number 14. Rotorua's Geothermal Wonderland. If there's one place in New Zealand that feels like you've stepped onto another planet, it's Rotorua. Located in the heart of the North Island, Rotorua is famous for its geothermal activity. Everywhere you look, the earth seems alive. Steam rises from the ground, boiling mud pools bubble like cauldrons, and geysers erupt with dramatic bursts of hot water. One of the most iconic sights is the Pohutu Geyser, which can shoot water up to 30 meters high. Then there are the colorful hot springs, where minerals paint the pools in shades of orange, yellow, and turquoise. Walking through this landscape feels like moving through a living science experiment. But Rotorua isn't just about dramatic scenery, it's also a natural spa destination. Locals and visitors alike soak in mineral-rich hot springs known for their healing properties. Imagine relaxing in a steaming pool surrounded by lush forest while the scent of sulfur in the air reminds you that the earth is bubbling just beneath your feet. Rotorua is also a cultural hub for the Maori people, who have lived here for centuries. Visitors can experience traditional performances, learn about Maori legends tied to the geothermal land, and even enjoy a hangi feast, a meal slow-cooked underground using natural geothermal heat. In Rotorua, nature and culture combine to create an unforgettable destination unlike anywhere else on Earth. While Rotorua steams and bubbles with geothermal magic, there's a street nearby that will literally take your breath away. Number 13. Baldwin Street. In Dunedin, there's a street so steep it almost defies belief. Baldwin Street, once recognized by Guinness World Records, has a gradient of nearly 35%, meaning for every 9 feet you move forward, you climb almost 3 feet vertically. Just walking up it feels like a workout designed by Mother Nature herself. Local residents have adapted in quirky ways. Cars are parked sideways to prevent sliding, and houses appear tilted from the outside, though step inside and everything feels normal. The street has become a playground for fun-loving visitors, with annual races challenging runners to sprint from bottom to top, a true test of strength and stamina. Imagine dropping a tennis ball at the top. It races downhill almost uncontrollably, zigzagging like it's having the time of its life. In winter, Baldwin Street even transforms into a natural sledding slope, giving locals a free thrill ride without leaving the city. For photographers and adrenaline seekers, it's a unique spectacle where the laws of gravity are on full display. Baldwin Street isn't just a street, it's a living curiosity, blending human life with one of the planet's most extreme natural inclines. Visiting it leaves you laughing, breathless, and in awe, a perfect reminder that New Zealand's surprises don't stop at scenic landscapes. And if you thought steep streets were wild, wait until you see a town that declared itself a republic. Yes, a republic. Number 12. Republic of Whangamomona. Hidden deep in the rugged hills of New Zealand's North Island is the tiny town of Whangamomona, population barely a couple hundred. On the surface, it looks like any other rural settlement, with one pub, a handful of houses, and quiet country roads. But Whangamomona has a story that sets it apart from anywhere else in the country. In 1989, government boundary changes moved the town from its beloved Taranaki region into the neighboring Manawatu Wanganui. The locals weren't having it. Instead of protesting quietly, they staged something far more dramatic. They declared themselves the Republic of Whangamomona. Since then, the town has elected its own presidents every few years. The elections are less about politics and more about fun, with past presidents including a goat named Billy the Kid and a poodle named Ty. Every 2 years, the Republic Day celebrations turn the sleepy village into a carnival of parades, sheep races, and quirky contests, attracting thousands of visitors. Today, tourists come not only to enjoy the scenery, but also to get their very own Whangamomona passport stamped at the local pub. It's a playful reminder of how this tiny town turned a government dispute into a unique identity. Whangamomona may not be recognized by the United Nations, but in spirit, it's one of the most independent places you'll ever visit. But it's not just towns that are unique. New Zealand's wildlife is just as extraordinary. Number 11, the kiwi bird and the Kiwi people. When you hear the word kiwi, you might think of the small, brown, fuzzy fruit. But in New Zealand, it's something much more special. The kiwi is a rare, nocturnal, flightless bird that has become the country's national symbol. With its long beak, tiny wings, and round body, it doesn't look like any other bird on Earth. In fact, it's so unique that scientists classify it as an ancient species, closely related to extinct giant birds like the moa. Sadly, kiwis are endangered, mostly because they can't fly and fall prey to introduced animals like stoats, cats, and dogs. New Zealanders, however, take huge pride in protecting them. Sanctuaries and breeding programs across the country work hard to bring kiwi numbers back from the brink of extinction. But here's where it gets even more interesting. New Zealanders themselves proudly call themselves Kiwis. The nickname first spread during World War I, when New Zealand soldiers were often referred to as Kiwis. Over time, the name stuck, and now it's a term of national pride. So in New Zealand, the word Kiwi has 3 meanings: the bird, the fruit, and the people. And all 3 are deeply tied to the country's identity. And speaking of wildlife, here's something you won't find slithering anywhere in this country. Number 10. No snakes in New Zealand. Yes, you heard that right. Unlike Australia, where snakes are everywhere, New Zealand is one of the very few countries on Earth with no native snake species at all. You can walk through forests, hike mountains, or relax on the beach without ever worrying about a snake slithering by. For many travelers, especially those with snake phobias, this feels like paradise. But why are there no snakes here? The answer lies in New Zealand's isolation. Millions of years ago, when the island split away from other land masses, snakes never managed to make the journey across the ocean. And because the country developed without them, its ecosystem evolved in a completely snake-free way. Today, New Zealand works extremely hard to keep it that way. The government has strict biosecurity laws to prevent snakes from entering the country. So while much of the world deals with venomous snakes, New Zealand stands out as a true safe haven. No slithering surprises here, just breathtaking landscapes and wildlife you can explore with peace of mind. And from snake-free lands to blustery skies, the next fact will blow you away. Literally. Number 9. Windy Wellington. New Zealand's capital, Wellington, proudly holds a rather unique world title. It's officially the windiest city on Earth. Nestled at the southern tip of the North Island, right where the Pacific Ocean meets the Tasman Sea, the city constantly feels the push and pull of strong gusts. Average winds blow at over 27 kilometers per hour year-round, and on stormy days, they can roar like mini hurricanes. For locals, wind isn't a nuisance. It's a way of life. Umbrellas rarely survive a week. Hairstyles are almost instantly ruined, and you'll often see people leaning forward while walking just to keep their balance. Yet, the breezes give the harbor a dramatic flair, and the crisp air enhances the city's natural beauty. Wellingtonians embrace the wind with pride, giving the city its affectionate nickname, Windy Welly. The gusts shape not just daily life, but also the city's vibrant coffee culture, buzzing art scene, and harbor lifestyle. Cafes become cozy havens, street performers battle the gusts, and sailboats dance across the wild waters. And here's a little secret. The wind also makes the city unforgettable. If you're enjoying this whirlwind tour through New Zealand so far, why not hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications? You won't want to miss the next mind-blowing facts coming up, each one even stranger than the last. Number 8. Natural wonders. If there's one thing New Zealand does better than almost anywhere else, it's breathtaking landscapes. This country is like a living postcard, filled with jaw-dropping natural wonders that feel almost otherworldly. Take Milford Sound, for example. Described by Rudyard Kipling as the eighth wonder of the world, this fjord is surrounded by towering cliffs, cascading waterfalls, and mist that gives it a mysterious beauty. It's the kind of place that makes you feel very small, yet completely alive. Then there's Fiordland National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where untouched wilderness stretches as far as the eye can see. It's home to deep lakes, dramatic valleys, and wildlife you won't see anywhere else. And of course, the Southern Alps, a mountain range that runs almost the entire length of the South Island. With snowy peaks, hiking trails, and ski resorts, it's a paradise for adventurers. Nestled within these peaks is the Franz Josef Glacier, one of the rare glaciers that descends into a temperate rainforest. Imagine walking on ancient ice while hearing birds sing in the forest nearby. It's surreal. Everywhere you turn in New Zealand, nature shows off its raw, untouched beauty. It's not just scenery, it's an experience that leaves you humbled and inspired. Mountains, glaciers, and fjords are impressive, but the culture here is just as powerful and unforgettable. Number 7. Maori traditions and the Haka. New Zealand's culture wouldn't be complete without the powerful presence of its indigenous Maori people. Their traditions run deep, shaping the country's identity in ways you can feel everywhere, from art and language to ceremonies and community life. One of the most famous expressions of Maori culture is the Haka, a traditional war dance. It's not just about stamping feet or shouting loudly. The Haka is a performance of strength, unity, and pride. Originally, warriors used it before battle to intimidate opponents and to mentally prepare themselves. Every gesture, from widened eyes to forceful slaps on the body, carries meaning. Today, the Haka has taken on a new role in modern New Zealand. Thanks to the All Blacks, the national rugby team, it's become an international symbol. Before every match, they perform the Haka, and it sends chills down the spines of both players and spectators. For the team, it's a way of showing respect to their opponents while also declaring, "We're here and we're ready." Beyond sports, the Haka is performed at weddings, funerals, and community gatherings, symbolizing unity and cultural pride. For visitors, it's an unforgettable experience to witness, a glimpse into the spirit of the Maori people, who keep their traditions alive with passion and dignity. And from fierce Hakas to proud traditions, you might be surprised to find out who really rules the land. Number 6. Sheep Nation. If there's one quirky fact that surprises most visitors, it's this. In New Zealand, sheep outnumber people 5 to 1. With around 25 million sheep and only about 5 million humans, this small island country has become almost synonymous with fluffy white wool. The relationship between New Zealand and sheep goes back to the 19th century, when British settlers introduced the animals. The cool, grassy hills proved perfect for grazing, and sheep farming quickly grew into one of the country's largest industries. For decades, wool was New Zealand's top export, and even today, sheep farming remains central to rural life. What does this mean for travelers? It means endless green landscapes dotted with sheep, no matter where you go. Drive across the North Island or South Island, and you'll almost certainly see them grazing peacefully on rolling hills. It's such a common sight that many visitors joke New Zealand is one giant sheep farm with a few people living in between. Of course, sheep here aren't just for wool anymore. They also contribute to New Zealand's famous lamb dishes, a must-try for food lovers. And if you visit during spring, you might even spot tiny lambs hopping around the fields, a heartwarming scene you won't forget. In short, New Zealand isn't just a land of mountains and lakes, it's truly a sheep nation. While sheep roam freely in this quirky nation, creativity also takes center stage in some unforgettable festivals. Number 5. Festivals of Creativity. New Zealand isn't just about mountains, sheep, or adrenaline sports. It's also a country bursting with imagination. And nowhere is that more visible than at the World of Wearable Art Show, often called WOW. Held every year in Wellington, this festival isn't your typical fashion event. Instead of runways filled with ordinary clothes, You'll see outfits that blend fashion, technology, sculpture, and theater. Imagine a dress made of recycled car parts, or an outfit that lights up with sensors reacting to music. Designers from all over the world compete to create pieces that look like something straight out of a dream, or even another planet. The show itself feels more like a stage performance than a fashion parade. There's music, dance, acrobatics, and dramatic lighting that brings each creation to life. It's part theater, part art exhibition, and part high-tech experiment, all rolled into one unforgettable night. For visitors, WOW is a perfect chance to see the creative spirit of New Zealand in action. It proves that the country isn't just a playground for outdoor lovers, but also a hub for bold, boundary-pushing ideas. So if you're planning a trip and happen to be in Wellington during the festival, don't miss it. The world of wearable art is a celebration of creativity that you'll remember long after the lights go down. And speaking of world-class feats, no list about New Zealand is complete without its legendary rugby team. Number 4. Rugby and the mighty All Blacks. If there's one thing that instantly connects New Zealand with pride, passion, and power, it's rugby. And at the heart of it all stands the All Blacks, one of the most dominant teams in sports history. For over a century, they've been feared and respected on every rugby field in the world. What makes the All Blacks legendary isn't just their record-breaking wins, though they've spent years ranked number 1 globally. It's the way they play, with discipline, speed, and an almost unmatched intensity. When they step onto the field, opponents know they're facing more than a team. They're facing a force of nature. But ask any fan, and they'll tell you the true magic begins before the whistle blows, with the Haka. This powerful Maori war dance, performed before every match, isn't just a tradition. It's a declaration of strength, unity, and identity. Watching it live gives you goosebumps, whether you're a New Zealander or a visitor seeing it for the first time. The All Blacks symbolize more than rugby. They represent New Zealand's spirit, blending cultural heritage with modern excellence. To many Kiwis, wearing that black jersey with the silver fern is the highest honor imaginable. So, whether you're a sports fan or not, witnessing the All Blacks in action is like seeing history, culture, and raw emotion collide on one field. From the sports field to the environment, New Zealand shows the world what innovation and responsibility look like. Number 3. Environmental pioneer. New Zealand isn't just famous for its breathtaking landscapes, it's also becoming a world leader in protecting them. The country has set an ambitious mission to be carbon neutral by 2050. That means cutting emissions, boosting renewable energy, and creating a future where nature and people thrive together. This drive toward sustainability isn't just government talk, it's a value deeply rooted in New Zealand's culture. The Maori worldview, which sees people and the environment as interconnected, continues to shape modern policies. From protecting rivers as living entities to banning single-use plastic bags nationwide, New Zealand constantly shows that bold steps are possible. What's more, almost 85% of the country's electricity already comes from renewable sources like wind, hydro, and geothermal power. Farms and businesses are adopting greener practices, while cities are investing in cleaner transport. Even tourism here promotes eco-friendly experiences, encouraging visitors to leave no trace while exploring. New Zealand's environmental leadership is sending a strong message to the rest of the world. Small nations can make a big difference. While the journey to 2050 isn't easy, the commitment is clear. For locals, it's about safeguarding their home. For travelers, it's about experiencing a country that treasures its natural beauty enough to fight for it. And while the nation leads in sustainability, living here has its own unique costs and rewards. Number 2. Cost of living in paradise. New Zealand might look like a dream destination, but let's be honest, living here isn't exactly cheap. Cities like Auckland or Wellington have higher costs, and groceries, housing, and everyday expenses can feel steep compared to some other countries. But here's the thing, locals consistently say the price is worth it. Why? Because New Zealand offers a lifestyle that's hard to match anywhere else. Imagine waking up to stunning coastlines, pristine mountains, or tranquil lakes, and being able to actually enjoy them rather than just photograph them from a distance. Your daily commute might pass through lush green hills or along the edge of a sparkling harbor. Cafes, markets, and small towns encourage a slower, more fulfilling pace of life. Here, your money doesn't just buy stuff. It buys space, freedom, and well-being. Even though living costs are higher than average, The combination of safety, natural beauty, and quality of life makes it feel like a worthwhile investment. People who move here often find that the trade-off is simple. Spend a little more, live a lot better, and experience life in one of the most stunning countries on Earth. And speaking of rewards, let's wrap up our countdown with something everyone loves: the food. Number 1. Unique cuisine. New Zealand's culinary scene is as diverse and surprising as its landscapes. At the heart of it all is the traditional Maori hangi feast, a method of cooking food underground using heated stones. Imagine tender meat, vegetables, and root crops slowly steaming for hours, infused with a smoky, earthy flavor that connects every bite to centuries of tradition. It's more than a meal. It's a cultural experience that tells the story of New Zealand's indigenous people. Beyond traditional fare, New Zealand shines on the global stage with world-class seafood. From plump, green-lipped mussels and fresh whitebait to rare black abalone, the country's oceans provide an abundance of high-quality ingredients. Local chefs creatively blend these ingredients with modern techniques, offering dishes that rival any Michelin-starred restaurant abroad. And let's not forget New Zealand's wine culture, particularly the famous Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough. Crisp, aromatic, and refreshing, these wines pair perfectly with fresh seafood or simply enjoyed on their own while taking in the scenery. For dessert lovers, pavlova is a must-try. A crisp meringue shell with a soft marshmallow-like center topped with fresh fruit and cream. In New Zealand, eating is more than sustenance. It's a journey through history, creativity, and nature. Every meal, whether simple or extravagant, reflects the country's unique blend of indigenous heritage, European influences, and local flavors. From hangi to haute cuisine, New Zealand's food scene is truly unforgettable. And that's a wrap on 18 mind-blowing facts about New Zealand. Which fact surprised you the most? Drop your answer in the comments below. I'd love to see your thoughts. If you're ready for more wild travel adventures, check out our next video right here and keep exploring the world's most incredible places.